Hello and welcome. I am o Jogador Intemporal, and yeah, I helped my mother play Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. There will be no spoilers for a while, and I'll tell you when to stop watching in case you haven't played this game yet. Part 1. The Game. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a short adventure game with cute graphics where you guide two brothers on an adventure, a quest to get a much needed remedy. You don't need to know any languages because there is none. The game starts off with their father being sick, and after one quick smart tutorial, you reach the house of a wise old man, who gives you a map showing where you can, hopefully, find the cure. This game is extremely approachable, simple and unique. All you need is a joypad, each analog stick and trigger control one of the brothers with movement and action. There is no spoken language, there is no complicated mechanic, it's easy to run on any computer, and you can play on most consoles and even smartphones. I'll say this now and later too. Even if you think this game is not for you, give it a chance. It's cheap, you can play it almost anywhere, it's easy and very short. Part 2. My Mother. The only game my mother had played was Candy Crush, or some other game in that style. Like most older adults, she doesn't care for games, though she knows of them and sometimes sees me playing them. "Oh, you're not playing that boring soccer car game today?" she asked me one of these days because of how much I used to play Rocket League. I first played this game about 3 years ago, and it has stayed with me since then. Probably it's going to stay with me forever. After seeing it on sale some time ago, I got the idea of maybe getting her to play it because of how easy it is. Slowly, I started randomly talking about how this simple game made me feel, and telling her that it's easy and that she would probably enjoy it. Well, eventually she decided to try. Part 3. My expectations and what I've done differently. I've been playing games since I was maybe 7 years old. I've got over 2 decades of experience in all kinds of games. I can't possibly understand or imagine how it must be to play a game without that background. So, of course, I imagined she would have trouble solving the puzzles. Surprise, surprise, she actually was quickly able to visualize what was going on, and understood what she was supposed to do in most of the puzzles. There were only 2 times I had to help her more than I wanted. And no, I never told her what to do. I mostly tried asking, "What is happening?" or "What do you see?" to aid her in thinking logically. One of these was mostly due to the visuals. At one point of the game, you have a short time to do something. Without the experience of playing games, you don't know what to look for, even though it's right ahead of you. The second moment she got stuck was near the end. You know when games force you to do something with no apparent reason? That's the game showing you what's possible because probably you will need it in the future. Something like that happens and she didn't immediately grasp it. I had to give a few tips. Other than that, she mostly had difficulties with the controller and common gaming stuff, patterns. Those of us who play a lot of games, when we see a lever, ladder, or button, we instantly absorb that pattern into our minds. No matter the visuals, we can identify them in the wild. She didn't have that. Even nearing the end of the game, she sometimes didn't recognize that she was able to interact with something. Also, another thing we experienced players have is the ability of maintaining an imaginary map of where we are, were, and need to go. Because this game's camera isn't fixed and also rotates a lot, she often got a little lost and went backwards for a moment. The isometric view makes it a bit harder. I think we can easily look at some random isometric image and understand what is low and high ground, what is behind stuff. I think she at some points needed more time to understand the terrain. The controller proved a challenge, and it's what I'd have done differently. Most of the time, she was just pushing or pulling the analog sticks, instead of resting her thumbs on top of them. This makes it harder to do some stuff in the game when reaction was needed, and I, unfortunately, often told her, keep your thumbs on the analog sticks. Of course, I never said it angry or anything, but just saying it I'm sure was enough to break her immersion. I should have let her just do whatever and only say stuff as really needed. Sometimes she was trying to do the right thing, but the game got in the way. Nothing major, this is not a huge game, and these small glitches do not take away anything from the experience. Part 4. Final thoughts. We will now enter the spoiler zone. Please give this game a chance if you haven't already. Do not watch this if you haven't played the game. You can beat it in less than 3 hours. I would rather you play the game and dislike both it and me than risk ruining such a unique experience. I will still say stuff vaguely just in case, but they are major experience ruining spoilers. You've been warned. My mother had many laughs during her gameplay, both from her mistakes and also from the game. She loved helping the ogre couple, helping the caged bird, she loved helping the turtles, riding the goats, and other moments. But I was just waiting for the final chapters. When I first played this game years ago and got to the burial scene, tears were falling. For some reason that part hit me hard. I wasn't unable to speak or anything, but yeah, tears didn't stop, one after the other. A controllable cry. That part of the game is beautifully done. The visuals, the angles, the amazing music, and it's perfectly paced. And then I got to the beach. It is night. Little brother needs to swim through a river, but he's terrified. I imagine most of the players will get stuck for a moment here, and I sure did. When I finally figured it out, I started crying again. And this time I wouldn't be able to have a conversation. I'm not a religious person, I don't have brothers or sisters, I don't know. Again, I was hit hard with sadness. Such a beautiful moment. Anyway, I was eagerly awaiting my mother to get to those parts. When she got to the burial part, and even a little bit before, I was crying. I was crying already. I think mostly because of the anticipation. Thankfully, I was sitting a little behind, so she didn't see it. And well, she was sad, but that's it. I was alone when I first played this game, so I felt a little ashamed for crying. But this time I felt like a little girl. I really don't know if the game just randomly hit me hard, if she was not so immersed because of me, or because of the controller, or if she's just stronger. Why did I cry so much? But it was very fun. It's so interesting watching her play stuff, trying to imagine what or how she's thinking about stuff. She is now slowly playing through the Tales Principle, a much more complex game, with a little over 10 hours total played so far. Unfortunately, she doesn't play regularly, and because Tales is a game that keeps building on top of what you've done already, these long breaks end up making the puzzles harder than they should be, but that's for another time. I'm extremely happy for the time we enjoyed together. Hopefully she'll be able to complete Tales. The last time she played, she was able to sprint forward while avoiding walls and keeping the screen leveled. I felt so proud. Do you have any idea how hard it is for someone to hold Shift, W, while maneuvering the mouse around a virtual world? Just to give you an idea, when she gets scared by bombs, she often just looks down, instead of using the keyboard to get out of the way. It's so funny. Well, that's enough. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.